Okay, so good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Nursing in Australia webinar with Healthcare Australia. My name is Rodrigo, and I have my colleague Annette here with me. And today we are going to talk about all the requirements that you need to know in order to be registered as a nurse or midwife in Australia. So we're going to be answering questions at the end. So as you can see, there's a chat box underneath, and you can type in your questions. So before we start, just please try not to ask questions during the presentation. So just keep them at the end of the presentation. That makes our lives easier. All right. So just to talk a little bit about us, we are a recruitment agency. We cover the whole Australia basically, and we do offer flexible agency shifts. We also have locum and short-term contracts, as well as permanent positions in Australia. So to be able to work in Australia, applicants require a minimum of 12 to 24 months experience. For example, as registered nurse, certain specialties like emergency, ICU, and theater, we ask for 24 months minimum experience. For our other specialties, we require a 12-month experience. Rights to work in Australia, we're talking about Australian visas that we are going to talk about later on in this presentation. And registration with AHPRA is going to be our second part of our presentation. So we are going through every single aspect of the application form that nurses and midwives must complete in order to post your application form to the Australian Health Practitioner Regulation Agency. So agency nursing in Australia, as you can see, there's a lot of advantages. If you want to go to Australia and work as a nurse, you will be in control of your roster. So you let us know your availability. You tell us when you are available to work, when you're not available to work. You can move, travel, and transfer around the country. So, for example, if you are an agency nurse and you start working in Sydney, for example, and you want to work in Melbourne, you can just let us know that you are moving to Melbourne, and we transfer your profile to Melbourne, and you can start working there. So it's quite flexible. You can claim your free flight incentive that we have at the moment. So how it works, if you start working with us and within the first 6 months you complete 500 hours of agency nursing, you can claim your tickets, your flight ticket back. So for more details of the terms and conditions, just go to the Healthcare Australia website. And the use of the AHPRA app is quite a good one, because that's where you're going to actually have your roster, and you get to actually let us know your availability as well. That's going to be part of your orientation. They're going to teach you how to use the app once you are in Australia. So for nursing contracts in rural and regional areas, these are for people who are looking for a different experience in Australia. So if you don't want to work in metropolitan areas of Australia, or in main cities like Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, we can offer you some nursing contracts, and they're quite interesting. It's a different lifestyle, and there's normally travel and accommodation packages available for this kind of contracts. For the nurse lifestyle, so this slide shows how much you can earn as an agency nurse, and also if you are planning to stay longer in Australia after your visa will expire, you can always have a chat with us, and we can give you some advice on what to do next if you want to stay longer. So for permanent positions, this slide is showing you the whole availability that we have at the moment, the current positions that we have, and it basically covers the whole Australia, as you can see. But if you want some more up-to-date current positions, just register through our website, and then you'll be able to have access to the current positions that we are offering at the moment. Common visa options. So briefly talking about visas, because we are a recruitment agency, we don't deal with visas, but these are the most common visas that you will encounter. So the working holiday visa and skill permanent and sponsorship, the 457. These are the most common ones. So if you have any questions about visas and which visa will actually suit you the best, just go to the border website. It's www.border.gov.au, or look for a migration agent. We can also recommend one for you. Just give us a call, and we can give you the migration agent's contact detail if you want. Oops. Sorry guys, just going through the, all right. Okay, for AHPRA registration, this is going to be the second part of this presentation. We are going through the whole application form, so then you will have a better understanding of the whole application form and what is required in order to apply for registration with AHPRA. But briefly speaking right now, it's a minimum of a bachelor degree. There's no online form, unfortunately, for the application form. You need to print off out of the AHPRA website and post it directly to the AHPRA office. Okay. The online form that they're talking about on this slide is about the fit to work. It's about criminal history check. The application form will guide you through the whole process of getting your criminal history check done online. Okay, and the average time is between 3 to 6 months. So bear in mind that it's a long process, and you need to apply probably 3 to 6 months before you go. Okay, so what to do next? You give us a call, and we can actually go through the whole process again with you. If you still have any questions, send us an email via the uk@healthcareaustralia.com.au, or send us an online inquiry to the the Healthcare Australia website. And don't forget to submit your CV together with your inquiry, because that would actually give us a better indication of where you're at and if you are, eligible to get your registration with us. Okay, so now we are going to do the second part of this presentation, which is about the AHPRA application form. So I'm going to close this presentation right now, and if for some reason you get knocked out of the presentation, just log yourself back in and we can start. What I'm going to do, I'm just going back to the previous slide, just for you to get a little bit the contact details just in case if you want to get our number or our email address. So just leave it there for a minute, and then we start the second part of the presentation in a minute. Okay, so now we are on the second part of this presentation, which is about the application form AGOS 40. The AGOS 40, that's the application form that internationally qualified nurses and midwives must complete. As I said, it's not an online form. You unfortunately going to have to print it off and submit everything by post. Okay, so on these first sections, you're gonna have you have to put your contact details in, and section C is about proof of identity. So it's a very common question. People often ask me if you need to get a visa before applying. You don't need to have a visa at this stage in order to apply for AHPRA. Your passport, your current passport, is more than sufficient for at this stage of the process. You don't need a visa. Normally, people submit passports, international driver's license, just a normal driver's license, and any account details or utility account with your name and address on it, and this is more than enough for. Okay, another common question is about the residential address. So that's very simple. That's actually where you're currently living, you know, whether it's in UK or Ireland or wherever you're living. That's the address that you need to put in this box all right here. Okay. Is the address of your principal place of practice the same as a residential address? It's a bit of a strange question, but to make it simple, you have to just tick yes, okay? Because you don't have at this stage a job in Australia, so then you just have to tick yes and go to the next page. All right, next page about mailing address, the same, you know, where you want AHPRA to submit all the documentation or all the communication, just put it there. If it's different, all right, then you following the next page is about details of your qualification. So that's the qualification that you are applying for your registration. Okay, so for the case of nurses, it's your bachelor degree. Put your details in there, and you can contact your own uni to submit the academic transcript. That's a very important document that AHPRA needs to receive. Is your academic transcript, so then they can make an assessment on your qualification and see if you are eligible for registration, yes or no. Okay, so if you don't have your academic transcript, you can ask the uni to submit one for you, but you know, feel free to make a certified copy of your academic transcript as well if you want. And then the next page is about your registration history. So that's where you are registered, and then for example, the UK is the NMC, the in Ireland is the onboard optimizer, whatever regulatory authority that you are registered, that allows you to work as a nurse, that's where you have to actually put your qualification, your registration here. And they only accept your certificate of registration if it's sent directly by the authority. So it's you cannot send a certificate of registration yourself. You have to ask the NMC or the onboard authorized to submit directly to them. All right, so section H is about, the criminal history check. So then you just fill in whatever is necessary. And question 16 is the most important one. Are there any countries other than Australia in which you have lived or been primarily based for 6 months, consecutive months, or longer when aged 18 years or more? So then when you tick yes, you're going to have to go to the Fit to Work website. So if you go to the AHPRA website, they give you the link where you have to go in order to get your international criminal history check. So the website is called Fit to Work. That's where you have to do your online international criminal history check. Once you receive the results, you just have the country where you asked for your criminal history check to be done. And you're going to receive a check reference number via email. You just insert that reference number here. And the email that you received with your check reference number, you can just print it off and put it together with the application form. You don't need to make a certified copy of that email. Just a copy of the email together with the form would be enough. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the English language requirements. As you can see, there are different pathways. The primary language pathway is for people who have been fully educated in one of these countries here. That these are the eligible countries. And if you've been fully qualified in those countries, you can go through the primary language pathway. You just need to put details of your whole education here, whether primary, secondary, tertiary, in this box, and that's all you need. They don't ask for evidence of your secondary schooling. And then the extended education pathway is about getting more than 5 years of education in one of the eligible countries. So have a look through all these requirements. Okay, if you don't fit in any of these categories, you have to do an English exam. Okay, so next page we'll talk about the English exams. So as you can see, you can do different ones. You can do the IELTS, the OET, PTE, so whatever you think is easier for you. Okay. Question 21, people often ask me about this one. Do you commit to having appropriate professional indemnity insurance arrangements in place for all practice undertaken during the registration period? Just tick yes, because normally the employer will provide this to you. Okay, this is just in case. It's very rare. This is just in case if the employer would not actually provide one for you, which is very, very rare. Then you're gonna have to arrange yourself. But regardless, you always tick yes to that one. Then the next page is about, it's quite straightforward. It's about if you have any impairments that would affect your capability of working as a nurse or wife, or if you have been disqualified. Question 27, yeah, it's the tricky one. Do you hold or have you previously held registration in the profession overseas? Tick yes, because when they're saying overseas, they're talking about outside Australia. So if you are from the UK or Ireland, that means that you are an overseas professional. So that means you have to tick yes to that one. Moving on to the next page is about the payments. No, that's not about the payment yet. Just about signature. Just sign here. Don't forget to sign. Don't forget to put your name and date. Okay. Just bear in mind that the AHPRA can be quite pedantic about everything. So if there's no signature, they will ask you to submit like another page with your signature, and this can cause delay. So make sure that everything is spotless. Okay, that's about the payments. Yeah, unfortunately, it has gone up for the last couple of months. It's 606 now, and you just have to put your credit card details in here, and the amount 660. Put your name on card and signature right here. This is just a checklist. Some people find it useful just to, tick all the boxes. If you have, when you actually putting all this documentation together, this is just to help you out, and it's not something that a lot of people use. But if you like to use it, it's there for that. The AHPRA GPO box, okay, don't worry about, you don't have to send it directly to the address. Just use the GPO box, and depending on which city you want to apply for, it doesn't really matter, because AHPRA is a national agency. Everything is connected. You can send it to any of these GPO boxes. Yeah. And the last page is about information and definitions. Okay. So make sure that you read that. It's quite an important one, especially when it comes to certifying your documents. There's only a few people who are eligible to make certified copies. Okay, so mostly used in the UK, I can say Justice of the Peace and Notary Public. These are the most common ones. That's what people use the most. If you want to know where they are, just Google Justice of the Peace near me on Google, or Notary Public near me, and you'll be able to find one, and they can make certified copies of all your documents. Make sure that everything is, if it's not original, it must be a certified copy. Okay, and yeah, just one little thing about statement of service. Make sure that you follow these guidelines. Okay, that's an employer's letterhead, and provide details of your employment, if it's full-time, part-time, and it needs to be signed by a manager, director, unit manager, or even HR manager. They accept that. It's not a problem. Okay, make sure you follow these guidelines. They're quite important. Okay, so this is it. This is the end of this presentation, and I hope it was useful. This is the very first time we're doing the application form step by step, because that's where people, that's what people ask the most. So I hope it was very useful, and we're going to open now for all the questions that my colleague is going to start answering. Yeah, feel free to do that. We're going to give you 10 minutes, and I'll be back to say that when the presentation is going to be closed. Okay. Hi, everybody. Okay, I'm back. So thank you very much for all your questions. Unfortunately, we're going to have to wrap it up. I'm going to leave this presentation open for another minute so you can have our contact details. Feel free to give us a call or send us an email or go to the Healthcare Australia website for any questions that you might have. Okay, thank you very much.